Hi guys, this is just a video taking you through how to print and export your CPD portfolios if you're using the Article 999 templates. Just so that you are aware, whether you're using the NQP portfolio, post-NQP portfolio or non-HCPC staff portfolio, printing and exporting is exactly the same. So everyone else, you can switch off when we talk about how to print newly qualified paramedic learning objectives, but you can pay attention for when we print everything else. It's exactly the same. So to start with, we're on the left hand side at the cover page, which is the first option in version 1.6 of the templates. You do have a little bit of information here. If you can't remember any of this, it tells you how to print the cover page itself. It tells you to click on this extension tab here. So you click on that and it opens this bit up. It is pre-selected on cover page, but it may not be depending on what you last opened, what you last used. So if you can't see the cover page in this little preview, click on the settings button. You'll see the option here with a drop down list, and this lists all of your tables. Select the one you want, which in this case is the cover page, double check it says A4 and portrait and click on done. What you will see is the title, CPD portfolio. Here will be your name if you've written it in the tables, which I showed you earlier. You then have the text here, so anything that you've written will come up here, and the contents comes up here as well. If you're not happy with anything, if you want to change a colour, text size, you can click on edit layout and do that, but I'm going to say that's for advanced users. So if you're happy to do that, you can go ahead and do it. If you want something to be changed and you don't know how, or you're unsure if something's going to break if you do it, for example, just send me a message and I can do it for you, or I can show you how. So when you're ready to print, click on the print button here. You can see it says current record, it says image quality is best, this is all fine, paper size is A4, if it says letter, change it to A4. I don't know why Airtable has an obsession with letter, but I'm pretty sure most of us like printing in A4. Paper orientation again is portrait, and when you're ready just click on the print button. That will then open up your computer's print settings. Now you have the option, if you do want to print to paper, obviously select your printer, print as you normally would. If you want to export it, click Save as PDF. When you click Save, it will then simply bring up a PDF option here, which again you can save. I'm actually just going to put a new folder here and call it test so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is the cover page, you can rename it if you like. Click save. That's the first page printed. Come out and go across to the next table, to the summary of practice history. This will print very similarly, so you're using the extension tab as well. Make sure obviously you've typed in your summary here and so on. Make sure you've put your name in here, not Article 999. Come back across to the settings option, select from the drop down list summary of practice history, A4, portrait, and done. This shows a title, the text, which will take up as much of the page as it needs to, your name and CPD portfolio in the footer at the bottom. When you're ready, click the print button. Again, the options are the same as before. Click print. I'm going to save it to PDF and click save. Okay, so that's page 2. Come across to the next tab and we're looking at your CPD log now. So there's a few different things to print on here. The first thing to pay attention to is this tab that says for viewing and reviewing, not for printing. This is what you check before you come to print. So check all fields shows you everything. You can check, okay, my title's there, my description's there, date's there, I'm happy, I've filled in everything, nothing's blank. My reflective entries, where I can see I've got reflections, are showing under limit on the what section, on the so what section, and on the now what section. They're all under the limit, which means they will print properly. If they're over the limit, I can do a couple of things. I might want to simply edit them until it says under limit. I can just delete things. I might want to expand the record to view everything at the same time, and what you'll find is you have to type in quite a lot before it gets to over limit on here. But obviously if you want to start deleting things, that's absolutely fine. You can delete it from here. This will change to under limit if it was showing as over limit. If you've actually got quite a lot to delete and you don't really want to, you don't want to reduce your word count, that's not a problem. What I would suggest is cutting your reflective entry, take it out of here, put it into a Word document and upload it as an attachment instead. That will then form part of your evidence, and it will effectively be a reflective essay as evidence instead of just a reflective entry that's a short one. Okay, once you've checked your word count, again you can continue coming across. If you did want to add a page number for featured evidence, you can do that. If not, just leave it blank. References, you would have put those in earlier if you wanted them to be there. You feel free to change any of your learning outcomes, development goals, and so on. Once you're happy that everything data-wise is in there and your word counts are correct, we then can come across to printing. So in the more section, this is the part that you can print. Apologies, I'm not able to rename this to make it any clearer, but you just need to be aware that the top section is not where you print. So minimize that. We don't want it for printing. What we want is the more section. The first kind of option that includes data is data for printing is a CPD log. The CPD log shows the name, description, date, CPD type and categories, HCPC standards, development goals met, and a yes or no as to whether there's any evidence. If you hover over the title, it will tell you how to print it. So this says click on the table title and go to print view to print this basic list. So table title, print view. A4, I'm going to print in landscape, that's fine. Actual size is fine, and the font size is small. You can experiment with this font size if you like to. All these options are turned on as well. You can turn them off if you prefer. The one that you would definitely need turned on is the wrap long text onto additional lines as needed option. Otherwise it just won't print very nicely. When you're happy with the settings, press print. This now brings up your internal kind of computer dialog, and you can see how it's printed on here. Now this is actually an interesting point for you guys. This has run off the page, and that's because one of my settings isn't quite right, because where I've been demonstrating it, I've started to expand tables and things like that so that you can see what's in there. So I need to correct that, and I'm coming back by pressing cancel, cancel again. And what it is these columns are just slightly too big. So I'm just going to minimize them a little bit. Come across to print again, press the print button, and you can see it now fits on one page. So unfortunately Airtable can involve a bit of manual work when it comes to printing. It's not completely adaptable in terms of fitting everything on the page nicely, but once you have it nicely laid out like this, I think it prints very nicely, and I think it I think we benefit from the fact that A, it's free, and B, it's customizable, and we can just get it to fit everything that we want in it, really. So apologies for the little bit of hard work, but hopefully it's worth it for you guys. When you're ready to print this, again, select the correct settings. I'm going to save it as PDF and click save there. You will have noticed there were no page numbers at the bottom of the page. Just to show you what happens when you press print, every dialog will have the option for a header and footer. If you click that button, your web browser will put on there a page number, and it will also collect the web link. I personally don't like that. I think it looks messy, and the page number might be useful, but it, remember, is only showing you the number of pages for this particular table. So if you've got 15 CPD entries that you're printing, it will show you however many pages that involves, but it won't show you the number of pages in your entire portfolio, because remember, we've printed a cover page, we've printed a summary of practice history page. They're all separate pages. So actually, I prefer to turn off this option. The CPD log entries are numbered, so to me that gives me a good enough order. I can see what order these pages should be in. I just follow the numbers on the CPD log, and when we come across to exporting, I'll show you how it looks when we actually put the whole thing together. So I'm going to come out of this now, and come out of this as well. What we've now printed so far is the cover page, the summary of practice history, and a dated list of CPD activities. That dated list includes the basic of what is this CPD activity, what is it about, what categories does it meet any development goals, and yes or no, is there any evidence. We'd now probably like to print that evidence, so the next table here is the evidence list. This shows any CPD entry that includes an attachment, and what those categories are that it meets, what the title is, and what the date is. So effectively, the entry in the CPD log references the entry in the evidence list, and vice versa. This page number option, I pointed that out a couple of times already. This is if you want to print this piece of evidence in full on a nice A4 featured page separately. You might choose to do that and not print the evidence list. You don't necessarily need to have a contents list of evidence. The HCPC just want 4 to 6 pieces of featured evidence. What they are, what it's about, what it has to do with. Make sure you write about it in your statement of how you've met the standards. So you do have a few options there. I like this because I think it just looks nice. It's a nice summary. If I don't want to feature the evidence, that's fine. I can hide this particular column. So the page number, if attached, we can turn that off. Turn it back on if we do want to put page numbers in there. If we want to print that featured evidence on its own in A4, click on the attachment. You then get an uploaded version of what that attachment is. You can download it and print it separately. You can print it directly from here if you want to. You can save the image, totally up to you. So we'll come out of that. If you want to print the CPD, if you want to print the contents list, so title, date, CPD type and categories, evidence, nice evidence list, come across again to the print view, click on that, A4, landscape, actual size, small, these options are on, press print, and it will print like so. So again, I'm going to save that to PDF in the same place. 1 second. change the name, let's just call it evidence. So, okay, I'm now going to come out of this. The next thing I want to print is the reflections. So let's click on the reflections tab. Again, if you hover over the instructions, it does tell you print me using the extensions. So we come back across to the extensions tab here, click on the settings, click from the drop down list, and this time what we need to do is dated list of CPD activities. A4 portrait, done. Over here on the left hand side it says check all fields. That's one of the views within one of the tables within the table, I should say. So if you click on the drop down list, the only one we want to print is reflections. So we'll click on reflections, and this is how it will look. This is why there's a word count, because there's only an allocated amount of space for each part of the reflection. When you're ready, click the print button. We want to print, this time, the records in the reflections view. We would like to print it one per page, and we'd like to print it in best quality on A4. Press print, and you can see there we have a reflective entry. So I'm going to press save, and this is reflections. Okay, I'm going to come out of that now. The next one to print is the skills section, which is optional. You do not have to include this in your portfolio if you don't want to. I've simply written print in landscape here, and if you click on the print options here, again A4, landscape, actual size, small, print, and that's how it will look with a list of all of the skills that you've completed. Press save, and I'm gonna overwrite that one. Okay, so that's now saved as well. Next thing we want to print is the development goals, so we'll come across here. So make sure you're on the correct table. You can choose again to hide certain columns if you would like to. If you'd like to keep everything as they are, that's fine. If you'd like to hide them, click on this little button here and turn on or off any that you do or don't want. When you're ready to print, click on the drop down option, click print view. Make sure your settings show what they show on my screen. Press print, and you can see your development goals here with all of the related information. Click save when you're ready, because I'm exporting to PDF. If you're printing, select the correct printer, and I'm just going to put a little title in here. These are my development goals. Okay, that's now saved, exported. Next, we want to print a statement of how I've met the standards. You can hover over the title here for some more information on how to print it, and this tells you to use the extensions tab on the right hand side of the page. So to do this, we're going to click on the settings button, and we need to make sure that we've selected the correct table. So we're selecting number 3, statement of how I've met the standards. Record size is A4, and we're printing in portrait mode. This shows the title. It would show what you've written here, and in the footer it shows your name and the portfolio, CPD portfolio title. When you're ready, click print. I'm printing the current record in best quality in A4 and in portrait. Okay, I'm going to save that, and save that. Next, for newly qualified paramedics, you can print your learning outcomes. So you can check everything before you print it on here, and the way to print this is to click on the title, click print view, A4 landscape, actual size, match these settings, click print, and it prints like so. You can actually fit this in portrait mode if you would prefer. So you can change the layout to portrait and click print. And I think that looks probably a lot neater that way. This signature date column is blank, so you can print this off, have it signed manually by hand, or I will show you shortly how to have it signed electronically if you prefer. I'm exporting this to PDF, so I'm going to click save and save there. So let's come out of that, and the last one is the HCPC Standards of Proficiency. So again, you do not have to include this, but if you would like to, come across to the table, check that everything's included, probably hide the status unless you have managed to show that you're meeting every single standard. Bear in mind these are quite new to us, some of these, because they're the September 2023 standards. So if you want to hide the status field, click on hide the status there. Click on the title, click print view, settings like so, press print, and that's how it will look. Okay. Press save if you want to export it to PDF, click save there. And I'm going to come out of that and reset this to the way it was before. So that is everything exported, but of course it's exported to multiple different PDFs. Okay, so you should be at the stage now where you have exported your PDFs, and you would now like to merge them to ensure that you have one file that's ready to submit. I've previously recommended the Adobe PDF merger tool, as it seemed to be free to do this online. It now looks like that tool is potentially not free anymore, or that it would only let you go so far before insisting that you sign up to a trial. The tool that I'm now recommending is called Small PDF. For Windows users, you can choose to download this as a desktop app. For Mac users, I recommend that you use it on the website. Windows users can also use it on the website if you prefer. There is also an iOS app and there's an Android app that you can download as well. With Small PDF, when you sign up, it will pop up with this page that says please sign up to a free trial. Ignore it, press the X button to basically, it's as if you're saying no, there just isn't a no option. But if you don't sign up to that free trial, you will then be left with the free account, which is what you can see on the screen here. With this free account, you have access to some pretty handy tools actually. I suggest that you come across to the merge PDF option and simply upload all of the PDFs that you had just exported to this section here. Select the merge files option on the left hand side here, which you can see is not highlighted as a pro option, so you can use it, and then order your pages in the order that you want them to appear. So cover page, your statement, your CPD log, your evidence, maybe development goals, reflection, skills, and so on, and then your final statement of how you've met the standards, and learning outcomes if you want them there. Click the merge PDF button and you'll see that you have a merged document. If you notice there are blank pages that have appeared here, please don't worry about this. You can sort this out in a moment. What you initially need to do, well, is one of two things. If you'd like to have page numbers, go ahead and download this file first. If you're not bothered about page numbers, you can click the edit and organize button here to get rid of any blank pages that may have appeared or any issues that you just don't like and you want to sort out. Okay, so I'm going to show you the page number option just as a way of doing that if you like it. So we're going to download it, and as you can see, this has popped up here. This is because I've just done it. So when you click the download button, you will be allowed to do it. If you're doing it multiple times on the same day, you may see this little option this little warning that comes up here that says, sorry, you have to wait a little bit before you're actually allowed to do anything. As I've already downloaded it, I'm now going to go back to the home page, and I'm going to click on this tool option here, and I'm going to go and number my pages. So to do that, I'm going to upload that file that I've just exported. So I will do that now. And then I'd like my page numbers to be on the right hand side. So I click that, it numbers my pages, and you can see I now have page numbers there. Yay. Click the download button if you're happy. If you're not happy, click the edit button. In the edit button, you can delete any spare pages that come across. I've already done this earlier, so that's why there's no blank pages there. And when you're happy, again, click the download button and you'll have your full portfolio. There's one more thing which I'm going to show, and this is for the benefit of NQPs. So NQPs, you might want to get electronic signatures on your NQP learning outcomes instead of signing them by hand. There is an option within Small PDF to do it, and that's the e-sign PDF option, but you might find that just a little bit unfamiliar. So to be honest, what you can do is simply use the Adobe PDF, Adobe Acrobat free app, which will be on your own computer and should be on your mentors' computers, and come across and just get somebody to sign it for you using Adobe. So let me see if I can open this file and show you. So here's my test file. I'm going to scroll down to my learning outcomes. So I have a signature date column here, and I would simply ask my mentor or manager to electronically sign by clicking in here and putting their signature, their name, whatever they need, or there you go, signed. And then we want a date in there as well, so we can just type the date in. And that is literally how a trust could go electronic if they want to. Obviously, once you've signed this, you'll need to then resave this document so that your signatures are saved, and then this will be the version that you will upload for submission or print, or whatever you want to do. Okay, so it is a little bit long-winded, I appreciate that, but effectively print and export from Airtable, merge your individual files using Small PDF or another PDF merger tool if you have a preference for that one, number your pages using Small PDF if that's something that you want to do, ensure you're happy by editing any blank pages, anything that you don't want, just deleting them out of it, and then if you need to get any signatures in your portfolio, simply send the file to your mentor and ask them to sign it using Adobe Acrobat and send it back to you. Once it's sent back, you have a completed signed portfolio which has all been done electronically and has no need for printing. If you'd like to encourage your trust to go that route, please feel free and let me know what the response is. It would be nice to see if these NQP portfolios can be a little bit more simple for people to submit, especially as the HCPC is also going electronic. That's it. For ease of use, I'm going to create a little list of what needs printing where, and that will be added to the website. I will show you where. There is now this HCPC portfolio help file, which gives you just a little bit more detail on what is needed in your portfolio, if you want to read that through, where I've got all the information from, what the references are, a little bit of further reading if you'd like, and a preview of what the portfolio actually looks like. So I will add the printing sort of help guide to here as well, and it will all be linked to from the main page, which is the CPD template page on the top banner. So hopefully it will be easy for you to find. If you guys are using an old version of the portfolio, so that's anything prior to 1.6, please reach out and I will help you upgrade it, or I will upgrade it for you if you're happy for me to do that. That I will do for free. If you are not sure if your NQP section meets your trust guidelines, you can also reach out and I'll help you sort that out for free. If you want to make some little changes, some little improvements that you personally prefer, please reach out. Okay, the reason this is structured this way is because, as you've seen, this is how it prints. It prints nicely. That's the reason we have to come in and print CPD log, evidence, reflections and skills separately. If you try and print from up here, it won't print nicely. The NQP Learning Outcomes should be printed from this table. They should not be printed as part of the main thing over here. If you try to print it from over here, there's a possibility your NQP portfolio will not be accepted because this is the format they want it in. Please do remember that. Equally, if you're not happy with something and you think it should look different, please reach out, send me a message, and we can look into it for you. If you would like some additional support, which is a one-off fee, please fill out this form on the CPD template page, and we can have a Teams meeting with ongoing support to look into that for you. If you like the portfolios, I would appreciate a review. A lot of work has gone into this, and it's nice to know when people are getting on with them really, really well. And if you really fancy it, there is a buy me a coffee kind of option here too, which I would also appreciate. Thanks very much, and feel free to send any questions through.